Rick, Kelly, who's on up and who's on deck.
We'll tag team this. We've got a batch of people we're going to talk. Thank you. Glad to see you, Rod.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Yeah. We wanted to give you an update from what we've been doing since last October on the teen parenting initiative. And I hope everybody got an electronic copy of 2 reports. One was the status report that went out to Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation, which was the funding agency that's provided money for this through Southwestern Community Action. It's sort of a roundabout kind of program, but that's why we're doing it. And the other was the teen parenting update. And so we wanted to talk about both of those, share some questions, share some things with you, answer some questions with you. And I think Shelley's going to give you an update of where we've been and where we are since October.
First, I want to apologize for my tardiness. I am without electric since yesterday morning, and it was supposed to be back today. So when I got the girls after school and we got home and it wasn't back, that called for a very quick shift in plans. So I had to feed them and get them somewhere else before I could get there. So I apologize. Mom duties do come first. I do want to share with you all what we've been working on, though, since we last met. And as you recall, what we shared was a proposal to do 2 different things, an early learning center or a daycare center, and to start a new certification CTE program in early childhood education. And after we came here last and some conversation with Mrs. Lucas, we really felt like it was important to separate those 2 pieces and move forward what we could. And so that we decided to move forward with the CTE program and really kind of put on the back burner for this time the child care component. So we focused all of our energies on what is it going to take to do a new CTE program at Lincoln High, what in terms of the classroom, what are the materials that we need, what are the requirements for this new faculty member, and then financially, what are the ramifications of all those pieces. And so it hasn't been just me, it's Mrs. Lucas and Mr. Jeff and Rick, and our whole team has been working on different fronts to get this information together. And so basically where we are at this point is that we do have a draft of a job description. We do have a budget for the classroom materials and such. Mrs. Lucas has presented those to the State Department of Education. I'm thinking it's about 2 weeks. Is that right? Yes. I think it's been about 2 weeks. And we're waiting to hear back, although, and I don't know the right protocol here, but one of them can speak to kind of the good information that, kind of the lead that we're getting from them. We don't have anything definitive at this point, unless you have something that I don't know anything about yet. But they've had some conversation.
They will volunteer.
Yes, I figured they would. So really everything is lined up, and we're waiting to hear back from Dr. D'Antoni's office to confirm what we've not, informally understood to be their support for us developing the program. And as soon as we know that,
now when you say that, you kind of gave us that big surprise the last time when you thought you had garnered a position or money for that. Is that what you're talking about, that that's not 100% at this point?
Well, we don't have anything in writing, but what happened, and again, you guys feel free to jump in, but Jeff and Trish went up and had some conversation with Dr. D'Antoni. We tried to do that as a group one time, and schedules and issues at the Capitol made that not work quite so smoothly, so they went up again and were successful, and I believe Mr. Snyder went as well.
That meeting
actually occurred. Oh, that's right, because it was supposed to be up there and her schedule changed again. but I think all indications are very positive that she will be able to fund both the position and the resources, materials, supplies. And it's not a short list of supplies. This is not like pens and paper and calculators. This, it was, you know, pretty sizable request. But it looks, you know, it all looks very positive, and we're just waiting. That happened, I think, that was like the week of the water contamination, and it was earlier that week, I believe, that you all were up there, or you dropped those requests off. So, you know, there've been a thing or two that have kind of taken priority, and we haven't heard back formally, but certainly anticipate that we will receive positive word from her.
Now, would this be a pilot program for the state? Was that our understanding?
This is a program that the state definitely is looking at to serve as a model among other programs in the state. There are only a handful of high schools that have a child care center on their grounds, and of those, none of them are doing this particular program. They have the old model of the ACDS, which is it's a different model of training, which it doesn't fulfill the criteria needed for the new law that came out regarding our preschool and kindergarten aides and the credentialing and certifications that they need. And so we would be one of the only places doing that. And I think I won't steal any of Dion's thunder, but I think we've got some other reasons to believe that they're definitely looking at us as a model for the state in terms of a very broad-based emphasis on early childhood education, both from the training standpoint, you know, training our students to be teachers, but then on the education standpoint in terms of what we actually will be, the services we'll be providing to little ones here in the county.
Now, did you find a space at the high school for?
Room 12 to 64C. It's actually the health room right now. It's beside our OTC room. And we'll just have our health program will be moving.
Now, does it require like restroom facilities or something?
The basic classroom itself does not. When we begin to, when we move into what we now are thinking of as phase 2, which would be the early learning center, that of course has a whole host of specifications that would be needed to fulfill the criteria for that.
So as far as getting started, you could kind of build your way up to that.
That's what we're thinking, and that really was what Dr. D'Antoni suggested too. So I think we can get this underway pretty readily, and then continue to work towards the development of the early learning center.
Are you shooting for next school year?
Yes, sir. That is the goal. That is the goal.
That would be for the CTE program.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Not for the child
Not
care.
for the child care
Right.
We're
center.
shooting for the next school year.
Following.
Okay.
Right. Unless we get, you know, a windfall of money and we can speed up the early learning center part to catch up with the money if that happens.
I will speak to the meeting that Mr. Midkiff, Mr. Snyder, and I had with Dr. D'Antoni. She was gracious enough to come here, and I think that was due to the fact that she could give us more of her attention if she was here instead of up there. But that worked well for us. She was very positive, made no commitment, but did direct us in the process that we should take regarding the program. Very much in favor of it. She had great positive things to say, but again, she's not the one that, you know, she has a board to make sure that she's given permission to do things, but she did guide us. We got the information from Shelley and Rick regarding the materials. I did hand deliver the proposal for the funding for an instructor, and a separate proposal requesting money for all of the materials. And that was upon her guidance and suggestion. And again, she was very favorable, but, you know, we want to see it in writing. And it was quite, Mr. McKee, you or Mr. Snyder may want to add something about the meeting.
She was very positive about the possibility of being able to offer this program at County High School, and a collaborative effort with Southern Community College, whereby those students could possibly end up receiving edge credits. At least that's the direction she would like to go, or some kind of dual credit, if that would be the case, you know, as part of this program. But, you know, it's the knowing and understanding too that the money for which she will provide us is only for 1 year. So this starts the program, hires the teacher for the initial year, buys the materials and supplies that we need, but moving forward, you know, the school system would have to pick up the cost.
Is there at this time, is there a commitment of how long that would have to be written into the agreement?
No.
What is the anticipated cost per year once you have the initial supply? I mean, I understand that some of the supplies would be expendable, but
Yes.
some would be durable.
Yeah, actually, most of them are durable. I believe what we have anticipated for the salary is, including benefits, around $60,000. And then most of the other programs that I talked to have a budget annually to replenish supplies between $1,000 and $2,000. So that initial, you know, getting all the materials was a lot more than that. But in terms of, a lot of that doesn't need to be replenished. Paper and glue and those kinds of things do, but games and, you know, big things like an Ellison machine and laminating machines and things like that don't have to be.
And the hours that the students would have to do, like interning or whatever term they would use, they would be able to utilize preschool classes that are here, which are very, you know, located great as far as being able to utilize those classrooms, you know, for their training.
And that would continue probably to some extent, even when we do have the early learning center, because the focus of the practicum hours for this certification is with 3-, 4-, and 5-year-olds. So obviously, the early learning center won't have 4- and 5-year-olds, and we won't know on any given year how many 3-year-olds we'd have in there as compared to 3-month-olds. So there's still going to be a need, you know, for the partnership between the program and the preschools in the county. So.
Sounding good. Anything else from Carol?
I'm going to pass it off to Dion because we were talking about the partnerships with the preschool. And
Let's not let her off the hook.
That's already starting.
I'm sitting over too quietly.
I've seen you do that before.
Good evening. We're just very excited about this partnership because recently, through a collaborative effort through our Universal Pre-K program, Southwestern Community Action Council, and our Lincoln County High School Early Education Program, we were awarded a grant to attend the Cyrus Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to see the Reggio Emilia approach. And with that approach, it's not a curriculum, it's an approach to teaching young children, preschool, infants, and preschoolers on the whole child. For instance, I walked into a classroom a couple of weeks ago and kids had a ball and they had a ramp and they were just rolling it down the ramp. Well, in the Reggio Emilia approach, the teacher would then question the child and enrich that project to where when I went back in that classroom today, that actually had a vertical stand which had paper towel tubes going down through it with duct tape, and the kids are putting the balls in there and going down through there. And I think of the reasoning that those kids are using, the critical thinking skills. But what we're wanting to do with this project is we're wanting to use the Reggio Emilia approach in that in our preschool programs here in Lincoln County, but also in our learning lab at the high school. We're taking a team of 4 preschool teachers from West Hamlin, county teachers, 3 Southwestern co-teachers, myself as a pre-K coordinator. Ms. Gaines will be going with us, along if we have a person with a CTE program, we have a lot of them a slot also to go with us. Southwestern Community Action Council has graciously awarded us with a couple of vans to travel to Pittsburgh. So everything as far as the grant money will be taken care of. I just think it's a great initiative for our early childhood education program here in Lincoln County. I think that the reason that we were awarded this grant, I think that they are looking at us maybe with this early ed program that we're doing in the high school, and we're going to continue it on because my whole program is I want my preschool teachers to be a traveling team. They will come back, they will start a strategic plan to implement their Reggio Emilia approach in their classrooms, come out, train our county teachers, and then with that knowledge that they have on that, then it'll come over to the high school also. And as those students come into our preschool classrooms, they will also know that Reggio Emilia approach to children. Any questions?
Dion didn't tell you that she was one of only 3 programs in the state to receive this grant.
Very modest, too.
When did that start?
Yeah, there only accept 50 people a year to visit the Cyrus Center. So we're taking a team of 14 with us. So have a good little team going. I feel real good about it. No problem. Okay.
Well, very good to us. We hope to continue to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dion.
Anybody have any other comments or questions regarding? Oh, Miss.
I came back. Sorry.
We love to hear you, Rick.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You've told me something that would contradict with that other times. No,
that was private.
Okay, that was private. This teen parenting initiative program that we're using the money from the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation and working with Southwestern on has a third part that hasn't really been mentioned too much, and that's the county's teen parenting program. This is the 3rd year that we've actually done this, and this is the program where we take our Lincoln County high school males and females who have a child or who are expecting a child and the children, and they're excused for 1 day a month from school. They have to make up any work they miss, and we get together with the moms and the dads and the babies and the pregnant women and the expecting fathers for that day and bring in a whole series of support people that offer different kind of workshops and skills to those kids. It's continued. We're into the 3rd year because it's a good program and because we feel that the teens who are involved are learning things and that the babies are also learning things. One of the things that occurred to me this year, we now have kids who are 3 years old, is this is sort of a 1 day a month childcare center for these little kids. And while the presenters are coming in and talking to the parents, Shelley and I are on the mats with the toys, working with the kids, and then periodically during the day we get the parents to come down and do exercises that they're not the same kind of things that they're going to learn in Pittsburgh. But they're exercises that can help develop skills with the babies and can also help the parents. And one of the things that came to you was just a short update on that program. I just wanted to highlight a couple things. Currently we have 15 teens who have come and are attending. These are both males and females, which I think is real important. This is not just something for the mothers, it's something for the dads too. And one of the things that we do each time we do an evaluation, one of the questions we ask the teen parents is, what are you going to do differently based on what you've learned today? And some of the responses that we've gotten over the last 4 months are things like, not cause tension at home and around the baby, won't argue in front of my kids, read to my child more, discipline differently, less spanking, more time out, be more honest. You know, I think it reflects well on the fact that these teens are learning some skills from this, that they're giving us those kind of answers. Some of the outcomes that I think are important. One is that 100% of the teens who are pregnant and parenting in Lincoln County High School are in the program. So we've captured all the teens who are in the school. The other thing that I think is interesting is that we know from the research that once a teenage girl has had a baby, she's at risk of having a second pregnancy. But none of the teens, and some of these they're in their third year, none of those teens have had another pregnancy. So that's a very positive kind of thing. This fall, Huntington High School started a program that they're modeling on Lincoln County's. So it's great that they're coming here to learn from us. And I think that the other thing that is important is everybody who's presenting is doing it for free. They're not charging the school or the Lincoln County education folks anything for this. They're coming from Huntington and Charleston. They're paying their own way. They're taking their own time. The organizations are funding it. So I think that's a good thing that we've got going. We're continuing to look at this as part of this whole teen parenting initiative. Sometimes I think it's real confusing. We have the teen parenting initiative, we got the teen parenting program, we got the early childhood education center, we have the CTE program. We're continuing to look at this teen parenting program to see how we can continue it and beef it up as we incorporate some of these new things. I just want to let you know about that. Anybody have any questions about either of those reports? I mean, we've got this team of Jeff and Dion and Dana and Shelley and myself and other people who meet usually once a month to sort of talk about where we are and where we're going. So we've got many people who can answer questions if you've got any.
You mentioned the statistics regarding what I thought was a wonderful statistic. I read it today about the number of girls that haven't became pregnant a second time. Have you seen a similar increase in graduation rates for teens that are pregnant or a father?
Well, we haven't had, none of the kids who are in this program have dropped out. Okay. Some girls, when they have, they're in high school, they have the baby, or right before they have the baby, they go on homebound. Sometimes they don't come back. So we lose those, but the ones who do come back, we're able to capture into the program.
Okay.
We'd like to figure out exactly how many children we've lost, maybe over the last 3 or 4 years because of pregnancies and how many we've kept in. I don't know whether we can actually do that, whether we've got those kind of records that aren't just, well, I think that girl was pregnant. I'm not sure. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just
Thank
thank you very much.
Thanks.